Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Quince Orchard Sports Network podcast. I am Sammy Crimstein, your host, with my co-host, Devansh. Today, we have a very special guest. He's a QO football player, a state champion, Duke football commit just a few weeks ago, Kendall Johnson. This is our first episode in a while. We are super excited to have you on, Kendall. So, Kendall, how's it going, man? How's your summer been so far?
It's been great, just like chilling, just sticking to workouts, football, just ready to get back in the fall.
Tough. So we can start off right with the first question. How long have you been playing football, and what inspired you to start playing football?
So it's really just been my family. Like, we've been a big sports family. Like, both my brothers play football. Started flag football when I was 7 years old. Then since then, played tackle when I was like 8. And then just stuck with it my whole life.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So when did you arrive at QO? I know were you here as a sophomore, right?
Oh, so I got here like my freshman year, right before COVID hit. Then like went into quarantine, and my first like season was my sophomore year.
Yeah, and that was kind of a weird season, wasn't it? That was the one, you had like 3 games or something. So
yeah.
How was that season for you guys? Because, that was your first kind of look into QO. So that must have been a little weird. How did that COVID situation affect the season for you guys?
So, yeah, we played in the spring. It was only like 3 quick games, 3 quick weeks. And, like, for me, it was really weird because I was new, playing with, like, a whole bunch of different people. Like, I didn't know much. I actually played receiver at the time. So, it was just really new to me. And, like, but I would say it was a good like start to like get to know how QO football really is. So like it was still like beneficial for me to like get to know like people on the team and like get comfortable. But it was like a weird feeling.
And what was kind of your first impression? Like, your first day of practice with Quince Orchard. What was the first thing that you thought? Like, were you surprised by anything? What was kind of just your first initial thought at Quince Orchard?
My first thought was like, this is a great program. Like, it's really like, I'm really going to have so much fun here. Like my upperclassmen years, because at my old school in San Diego, like we weren't as good as Quince Orchard. Like we weren't like ranked or and all that. Mm-hmm. But, like coming here, it was great. I knew I was going to have fun.
And for last year, your first kind of normal, everyone in the stands, full season, you guys went the distance, won the state championship. When did you realize that was a real possibility, that was something that everyone was on board to do?
Oh, I realized like after we beat Northwest the first time, I was like, it's done. We're going to win the state championship. I was like, I just felt like so confident. Like the team really started to click because like I feel like at first, like we had at the beginning of the season, we started off like kind of jumpy, like we were making mistakes a lot. But after that game, I felt really good about it.
Mm. So I know you mentioned Northwest before. We lost to Northwest in 9th grade in our freshman year. So if Northwest wasn't a challenge, was there really any challenges that you guys faced for the rest of the year?
I mean, obviously like Wise in the state championship game, but like other than that, like we had like some tough games. We had like a couple of like instances where we kind of fell off, but like I really didn't see a point where we were going to lose like throughout the.
Wow, that's crazy because every single game that I've been to, it's always been a blowout. So yeah, I think what you saying that really represents that. So I know you guys played in the Navy Marine Corps Stadium. How was that?
It was great. It was my first game in a big stadium. It was a good experience, get to play under the lights on the turf. It was really nice.
Tough. How was catching that TD pass?
Oh, I was going crazy. I was so surprised. The whole season, I haven't played offense like that.
Right.
I was so happy.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it. Like you've been a wide receiver kind of your sophomore year, and then transitioned to linebacker for junior year. And then in the state championship, you're catching a touchdown pass. So when did you realize that was that something you guys were running in practice? Like, do you know that you could be lining up to potentially catch a TD pass beforehand, or was that kind of a surprise in the game?
Yeah, it was a surprise in the game, but like we have gone over that like a lot throughout this and throughout the season. But like I never saw us like actually like running it and like following through with it. So like it was a surprise in the moment, but it's not something I did for the first time. Like we practiced everything we do on the field.
Yeah, and for the state championship game, obviously it's a huge one. Adrenaline's pumping. Is your preparation for those kind of big games any different than, say, a week 1 or week 2 matchup? Or are you doing the same thing that you're always doing? Is it consistent no matter what?
I have my superstitions, pregame superstitions. Like I do my same routine, but my mindset coming into the state championship game compared to the game 1 or game 2, like it's completely different, like completely different mentality, especially after like the long 14 weeks of straight football, like it's a different mentality coming to that game.
Yeah, and 14 straight weeks of football. How do you handle that kind of fatigue? Because that is a lot of, mentally and obviously physically. So how do you handle that as a player, just going through every day, grinding a practice? It can't be easy.
Nah, yeah, it's tough. Honestly, I don't even know how to answer that question because like it's just really tough. Like practicing in the winter, like in like December, like those practices are tough. Everything's hard. Like to stay passionate and focused and consistent is definitely the hardest part about it. But at the end of the day, like it's football. Like I love football, and like so I'm just having fun. Like I'm just trying to make the most of it because I only got one high school career, and like it's just you got to focus every day.
All right, and another very important question: go to hype music before a game. Like maybe top 3 artists or just something. Give us an idea. What is Kendall Johnson listening to before, let's say, the state championship game? Well, how are you getting?
Number 1 song, Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. That's just number 1, undisputably. Other than that, straight J. Cole, no role models, like anything by J. Cole is that's number 2. That's it.
Nice. All right. Nice and simple. I like that.
It is simple.
Yeah. So now I'm going to kind of start talking about, the college recruiting process. That's something that you have gone through, and it seems like a pretty quick process. When did you get your first offer? When did that happen?
It was actually the week after the first Northwest game. I got offered like on a Wednesday. Like it was just randomly during lunch. Wow. It was just super.
So tell me about like when you found out you got that offer. Like how did you feel? I mean, that must be an amazing memory forever.
It didn't even, it is something to think about. Like it didn't even hit me at first. I was just standing in shock. I was like did I get an offer? Like it was pretty like, and then like after that, like more coaches like started hitting me up. I was like, this is like what I've been working for. Like this is everything that I wanted. Like it's coming true. So it was an amazing feeling. Yeah.
That's got to be a cool feeling.
Mm-hmm. So about the college recruiting process, what was the most surprising thing that you dealt with during it?
I think like becoming, because I've always wanted to go to school that's wanted me. Like I don't like, I want to be wanted. And like, what's really surprised me is how many schools actually wanted me. Like the attention that they get, effort they put into recruiting me is what really like, like made me more passionate about it. And like, I see how much like they cared about me, and that made me care about them. Like, it's really that like, it's unbelievable, really.
Did COVID impact it at all or no?
I'd say no. Like COVID really didn't impact like my personal college recruiting process. Like, yeah, it didn't really have much effect on it.
So you think like if it were your year before, you think it would have made a difference or no?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say it was like if I played like more in the spring season with 3 games, like I wouldn't have had much film. Like coaches wouldn't know as well. So like that did have a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and you ended up racking up a lot of offers, and you ended up, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you see the shirt, Duke football. You ended up deciding on Duke. What were some of the things about Duke that was special to you? What were some of the things that stood out about Duke? How'd you end up deciding on Duke?
I mean, I think overall, like it's Duke football. Like the name speaks for itself academically.
Oh, yeah.
And like the community, Durham, North Carolina, the coaches, like I really just love it. Like they're really good people. Like they're alumni. They all care for the players. Like they don't just like coach you up and like once you leave, you're done. Like they stick with you your whole life. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's great. And for you, your brother kind of went through this process before. And now, if you don't know, Caleb is playing in the NFL on the Chicago Bears. I'm a huge Bears fan, so that's very cool for me. But how has it been kind of watching his journey through football? What kind of advice has he given you? How have you been able to grow watching his process before you?
Watching him like actually achieve his dream is one of the most like unbelievable things I've ever like got to witness. And like being like knowing that he's my brother makes me like super proud of him and like everything he's accomplished. And like he's helped me a lot get through like, you know, like even like just switching positions to linebacker. Like he's like shown me drills, like helped me become like a better athlete. And he's also like giving me the best advice about talking to college coaches, like just simple conversations with coaches and like recruiting and like committing, what to say when like I get an offer, like all that stuff. Like he's helped me do all that.
Now, just out of curiosity, have you been able to make it to any Bears games at all, or?
I made it to a preseason game last year. I'm going to another preseason game August 13th. Nice. Who they play, but like in Chicago, so I'll be able to come through one for another game.
Awesome, that's sick.
That's super cool. So he's definitely helped you navigate the college recruiting process.
Yeah, definitely.
That's super cool. So outside of football, you got any other hobbies that you like to pursue?
I love to work out. That's how I fill my free time. Like I paint sometimes, like I don't know, like I don't really do that. Like I don't have that many hobbies, but like always find ways to like, fill my free time. Like sometimes I work, sometimes I'm like just watching TV. I mainly just work out. Like I don't do that much though.
This stuff. The grind is real, 100%.
Yeah, the grind is real. And this offseason, you said you've been working out a lot. What have been some of the things that you've been trying to make adjustments with? Anything in particular that you've tried to take your game to the next level with?
Really just like getting faster, quicker, while also like being able to generate more power and like exploding. Cause I feel like coaches have told me that like, I'm like, yeah, like I'm an athlete, but they say I'm not like very like explosive. And like, that's what like, it's really just stuck in my head. And like, that's all I've been thinking about. So, that's something I really want to improve.
So you said you wanted to improve your explosiveness. I personally am a Dallas Cowboys fan, big Parsons fan.
Okay.
So I know you're a linebacker. Are there any players that you've idolized?
I'm sure your brother would be one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I watch my brother a lot. I also like to see like Khalil Mack and Bobby Wagner. Like I really like look at their film, pay attention to them. And the current linebacker at Duke, like I've been watching his film a lot because he like my coach thinks that I'm really just I can be like him. So I've been like watching his footwork, like what he does and how he like is able to execute.
Tough. So one of the last questions: what is the thing that you're most excited about next season? Y'all think you can run it back?
Oh, freaking! I'm most excited about really just balling out. Just every week, just balling out, getting to see the Red Army again, getting to see everybody in the crowd, like just that atmosphere, making plays, just everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone is excited to watch the QO football Cougars run it back next year. We're all excited. Last question here, and this is a tough one. I'm curious to see what you're going to say. What is one word that you think describes yourself best as a football player, as a person? Just one word that all right, that's Kendall Johnson.
I had to think about that.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Like,
not making it easy on you.
Yeah, that's not an easy question. It's not an easy question at all. I'd have to say like determined. I'd probably say determined, just because like I'm a football player. I'm competitive. I want to win, and like I don't want to be. I'm not like a selfish like type of player. Like I want the team to win. I want everybody on the team to succeed. So like I'm determined to get to that point and like what we want to accomplish.
Awesome. Well, Kendall, that's it. Thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. We're super excited to have the podcast back, have you on it. Devansh, thank you for joining me as a co-host today. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll keep you updated on social media with our next guests. But once again, Kendall, thank you so much. We are very excited to see you next year for QO and see you in the future at Duke. We can't wait.
Yes, sir. Thank you.